Shelton has been a friend of ours and mine for many years. We met at Liberty University when he was a strength and conditioning coach there. We've had some awesome talks and he's done some different events. He's had me to do his stuff. We've mentored back and forth. And just a great human. And he's been at SummerStrong many, many times. And we just knew one day that he needed to speak. He's doing some cool things. He's currently a strength conditioning coordinator at a special operations location, and he'll get into that. And there's a couple little intricacies that we'll need to do during this presentation. But I don't want to take any more time, but I just want to let him know we very much appreciate him. I appreciate you, and I'm super excited to see what you have to say. Shelton Stevens.
Good morning, guys. So this thing, I want to start off by talking about a little bit about my journey first. I'm going to get into the specifics of a little bit of the X's and O's, but I like to be real. I like to be real with everyone I talk to about this profession, about the transition. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, where I work a little bit, and then at the end, I'm definitely going to get a little personal. So I wanted to start off with the journey. Like most strength coaches, I was chasing the carrot, is what I call it. So started off with a simple internship at Florida State, walked in, 10,000 square foot weight room, amazing athletes. I'm from a podunk country town in Virginia. Like, I'm not used to seeing athletes like this. So I walk in, amazing facility, had to be there at 4 o'clock a.m., get ready to train golf. Like any other intern knows, you got to be there early. I had to walk a mile to the weight room. I didn't get a close parking spot, so I had to deal with all that stuff. But worked the internship and then started climbing the ladder. Some ladders was up, had to go back down again. I was floating all over the place. I learned what to do from some mentors, and I learned what not to do from some mentors. And I think that's very important here. I personally, after the Arkansas State deal, okay, where that last arrow curves to the right, I personally got tired of riding the coattails of sports coaches, got tired of riding the coattails of my director. There was something that needed to change for me. I learned a lot about myself when it comes to strength conditioning and what I wanted. So that led me to an impactful moment for me, and that was at Liberty. So at Liberty, I was lucky enough to get hired to be the baseball-only strength coach. Now, I do not recommend specializing in just a sport. So any young coaches in here, I don't recommend it. I think you become a great coach by training as many athletes in as many sports as possible, all right? But I was lucky enough, where are you at, Coach Eric Overland? Where are you at? Raise your hand. I was lucky enough to get hired by Coach Overland. He gave me a chance at Liberty to work with baseball, and if anybody knows anything about Liberty, those facilities are absolutely amazing. It is a hidden diamond in the rough in Lynchburg, Virginia, okay? If you have a chance to ever go visit that place, you will be absolutely shocked. So once I was there, I trained baseball for a little while. Coach Overland left. We were all depressed that he left, but I was able to get a promotion. I was able to get promoted to the director of Olympic sports, and thanks to Jeff Barber and Donna, his wife, sitting there in the audience. It's crazy how this stuff works. I didn't know they were even going to be here, so it was obviously meant to be. But I got promoted to a director of Olympic sports, lucky enough to help design the weight room there. All right, so we at Liberty, usually with the facilities, they're going to give you a blank check to whatever you want. All right, so we were lucky enough to do that. Of course, changes always happens with facilities. You're going to see 15,000 square foot. That thing's going to drop down to 8,000 real fast. So we were supposed to have an upper deck full of cardio equipment and energy system development stuff and all kinds of force plates up there, but that got shrunk. The ceiling, you see, where the lights are, right above us, was the administrators. All right, so everybody knows how loud the weight room could get. So my boss, the senior athletic director, had a control panel in his office, and he could turn down the music anytime he wanted. So you know how frustrating that was, okay, at the time. So I got to think, where's Phil? Is Phil here? There he is. I want to thank Phil. The stuff that we went through with that weight room, I tell you what, man. The floor is curved. I mean, done a great job with the flooring, the racks. I mean, obviously, it was just a little tricky, but everything worked out. Everything worked out. If I look back at the design process, I got way too much stuff in there, way too much. But I was thankful. Lucky enough, I helped finish the design. That's the track and field weight room. All right, that's the track and field weight room. Coach Overland helped start that. I helped finish it. And again, Phil shows up and helps with it all. So that's a big props to Phil. And again, it's a tough job, man. I'm not jealous of you whatsoever. So yeah, take a picture of that, Bert. That's So Liberty happened. I was able to buy my first home, me and my wife. Okay, everybody knows in the strength and conditioning business, apartments, renting houses, I was able to buy my first home. We were really excited about it. Ended up with about 5 acres that backed up to about 50 acres of nice hunting land. Lynchburg, Virginia's got some good hunting land. So a little story there, a hunting story. I set up the trail cam, and it captured this huge, non-typical, I don't know how old this deer was. I posted it on Instagram. As soon as I posted it, Bert calls me. He calls me, he's like, dude, you gotta take that picture down right now. And I was like, why? He's like, somebody's gonna see that and poach it and kill it. So you need to take it down right now. It's yours, nobody else's. So that was a little story there. He called me right away, it was amazing. Never saw the deer again though. Never saw the deer again, yeah. So, never saw the deer again. But I killed plenty on the property, so it was good. But getting a more serious note here, my wife says this, and she tells other wives this, other coaching wives, and I think a lot of men can get something out of this. Always unbox your household. So like everything that you pack up, no matter if you're staying there for 6 months, unbox it, hang your pictures. Make it feel like a home. All right, and that's her quote, and she's done it everywhere we went, and every place it felt like a home, even when we were in a small apartment, and I thank her for that. During that time, I had my first child, okay, my little man, okay. His name is Steele Hamilton Stevens. Now, if that isn't a shortstop for the Yankees name, Steele Hamilton Stevens, all right. So, yeah, that's my little boy. Again, such a blessing there. This picture right here is very powerful, all right, to me. We were lucky enough that Liberty was able to pay for my wife's bachelor's and master's degree during her time there. So when she was a mother, she was studying and able to get her education during that time. So that was a blessing. She worked her tail off, all right? Within that moment, you can go from feeling very successful to feeling like a failure real quick. So a little story about Liberty. One day, I get a call from my senior administrator. Shelton, can you head down to Human Resources? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I'll be there. Got off the phone. I thought it was, we just hired a new graduate assistant. I thought it was going to be some hiring process, paperwork. I didn't know what it was. Walked down there, walked into the office. I saw him. I saw our other new athletic administrator, and I saw the director of human resources. Shelton, we're going to have to let you go. And no reason. You know, it's a private university. They don't have to give you a reason. Still, till this day, I don't know what happened. So they escorted me back to my office, out of the parking lot, to my truck, and saw me drive off, and that was it. So I called my wife at the time, and you talk about feeling like a failure. So I call her, she can feel me, kind of hear my voice. She thought I was kidding. I told her as soon as I parked in the house, in the parking lot, and I saw her walk out, I broke down. That was hard for me. Okay, that was probably the hardest moment for me because I felt like a failure because she was in school. All I cared about was her. I could care less about the job. It was about my family, all right? So when you fail, and you will fail, make sure it's a spectacular failure, all right? A spectacular failure. So the spectacular moment comes after the failure, all right? So this is where the next impactful moment is for me. So during that time, that U-Haul you saw, we had to live with my parents for a little while, for about 3 months or so. I didn't know what I was going to do. Of course, when you get fired, you're on the phone, you're trying to figure out the connections, connecting the dots, checking Football Scoop, all this crap, right? Something was telling me to just be patient. I interviewed at a couple places, had a couple opportunities, a couple job offers, but something was telling me I needed a change. I needed a transition. So I was on the fence about what to do, because everybody knows in the field of strength and conditioning, sometimes you can feel stuck and it's hard to get out. And the whole crap about if you get out of the field, you can't get back in, that's bull crap. Okay, because if you're a good person and a good human, they will hire you, all right? So I was on the fence, I took a leap of faith, and I took a job with the military. Luckily enough, I didn't know where it was at the time. Again, with those jobs, they don't tell you. You kind of get an idea, but they don't tell you which, unit or where you're at. They don't tell you exactly where you work. But again, I work with the top of the top, and I'm blessed to do it. And we ended up buying our second home, okay? Not 5 acres backed up to 100, but it was an acre, a beautiful place. But I have a big farm behind us, and still loves the cows and all that stuff. So it's really cool. So we're blessed and we still live there now. We're blessed to have that home. And then end up with a second child, and that's our daughter, all right? That's turned into a girl dad, okay, a girl dad. Her name is Eli Sue Stevens. Now, the Eli Sue comes from my wife, because she's from Mississippi. So that's where that name comes from. That is a Mississippi all the way. That name is southern as it gets. So, again, blessed. The family is growing. Everything is growing. Everything is great. I have time with my family in the military. I can't complain. With time comes creativity, which I think what everybody strives for. So creativity comes a little side business I had time to do. So, with this, started in 2019. We've reached 75 countries, and we've sold over 10,000 programs. This is just an online business, okay? I truly believe that you can do good with remote training. Anybody says remote training, you can't, that's bull crap, okay? Again, it all depends on the person and how they go about their business. If you're just trying to make money, yes, okay? It's not gonna work. People will look through that. People will seep through the bull crap when it comes to online, all right? But we've been very successful. We take ownership of answering every question. With every question we get on Instagram, social media. Is it hard? Yes. Because I still have a full-time job and I'm trying to do that. But the cushion it helps me have at the end of the day, because again, you got to be smart with your money. That's exactly kind of why we wanted to start that, was because, again, look at the times we're in now, right? It's always good to have some sort of side business. Any strength coach, if you're not having 2 or 3 or 4 sources of income coming in, start doing stuff. There's 1,000 different ways to make money, okay? There's 1,000 different ways to make money. The wife came up with the logo, 13 bars on the flag, okay? So that's how she made that. She just, all of a sudden, we were sitting there in the kitchen, and she's like, what about 13 bar? I was like, 13, what is that? She's like, 13 bars on the flag. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's genius. Let's do it. So we named it that. A former athlete of mine, a swim athlete, she came up with the logos and for free. So everybody knows how much a logo can cost and do it right. She's done it for free. So I'm thanking her for that. Moving forward, all right, with this job, I get to work with some amazing people and do amazing things. And with this picture, this was by far the most hardest day of my life when it came to exercise. So this was supposed to be a short little hike, ruck, whatever you want to call it. The average age in the building with the guys I work with is 32, all right? The guys that was on this was anywhere from like 28 to 50, mid-50s. The guys that are mid-50s, they're smoking me. They're just smoking me. I'm the last one. Obviously, look at me. I'm bigger than any guy up there. It shows you how short some of these guys are and how lean they are. They're machines, right? I'm up there. I'm freezing to death. These guys are hardly have any jackets on. I got the most layers you can get on. But it was hard for me. But it was good to see what those guys go through when it comes to their training. And if anybody knows, the only way to train up for a hard ruck is to ruck. All right? But again, amazing things, work with amazing people. I have some amazing cases that I worked with. All right? I'm not going to name the name, but let's start with operator 1. Okay? Injury, fractured femur, IT band rupture, massive soft tissue damage to the quad and hamstrings. All right? The approach, okay, you might not be able to see it, and I can give you the slides, okay? The approach that I took with this guy, all right? And you'll be able to see some videos here in a second. We had him for about 4 phases, so 4 weeks in a phase. First phase, it was just strictly volume accumulation and GPP. All right, had him for 4 weeks. It was a 5-day block training, so every day was a different emphasis. Legs, triceps, biceps. It's really the only thing we could do, okay? Because his lower half was pretty much shot. We had conditioning to follow the lift every single day. All exercising and the conditioning was done in a seated position, okay? Very short rest periods between the exercises. I wanted to continue to keep his aerobic capacity, that foundation intact. That was phase 1. Phase 2, we went through some basic strength and hypertrophy work. We introduced some low-level plyos in there. He is a big CrossFitter. He loves to CrossFit. All right, any guys that work in the military knows that the CrossFit's a thing. We can't hide it. The guys love it. So I started to introduce some hip and muscle cleans, some muscle snatches in there, and it's about buy-in. Okay, it's about buy-in, being able to relate to the guy. You got to feed him that candy a little bit. All right, you got to feed him that candy. Squat hinge patterns, we started moving a little bit there. Energy system development progressed there. So with a little bit of leg involvement. All right, he was starting to get some motion back in his leg. Okay, phase 3, we stepped it up even more. All right, when it came to the strength, hypertrophy, started to introduce some power there. So plyometrics progressed, Olympic variations progressed. We started progressing some energy system methods there. All right, in phase 4, we went to a strict conjugate model, all right? Everybody knows that conjugate isn't just bands and chains, and it's bringing everything up at once. That we've basically been doing conjugate this whole time. But when it comes to the conjugate model, I personally have found that that works best with the guys that I train. Why is that? One is because they have a little bit of training ADHD. They don't like doing the same thing over and over again, okay? So changing that up week to week or every 3 weeks, they eat it up. They love the bands, they love the chains, they love the different bar variations. A lot of them don't even know what a Duffalo bar is or a safety bar, all right? They've been using the barbell ever since they got into the military and have no idea what these bars are. So introducing new things to them and getting them to understand, hey, let's work around the injury instead of through it, it's a big thing. So getting them to understand that, we got guys buying safety bars in further garage now. We got guys buying CMBs, kettlebells, maces, all that stuff. It's a good thing to see. And that's personally what I found to work the best. Now, am I strictly conjugate guys? No. I have 90 guys that I program for. Each guy has something different in his program. All right, we use Bridge Athletic for our app, and it works great. It's clean, it's fast, and again, some guys don't like the app at all. They like pen and paper. So and we have to do that as well. But I got all kinds of different conditioning emphasis programs. I got hypertrophy-based programs, CrossFit-style programs, you name it. You have to be a chameleon in the tactical space. You cannot have an ego when it comes to programming. If you go in there and a guy wants you to program some CrossFit for him, you better not just dismiss it. You better find a way to put that in there somehow in a smart way. Because you're the professional, right? You know energy. If you know energy systems, you know how to program CrossFit. It's metabolic conditioning. It's simple, okay? It's simple to do. Another thing, okay, when I got hired or before I took the job, I talked to Alex on the phone, okay? And I remember him telling me, listen, man, I'm going to give you some advice. Don't be the guy in the office with his feet crossed up on the desk and he comes in there and wants some attention from you. And you just kind of give them the cold shoulder. And I've seen it. I've seen it in my own office. And it happens. Guys will come in, they see that, they'll walk right back out, you'll never see them again. Okay, that's how quick it can happen. Because everything in the military is optional to the guys. They do not have to use us. Our service is free. Our service is free. We are the professionals, but they'll go buy an app for $500 a month when they got free service and all the professionals right there in front of them. You have to get them on board somehow, right? So you be the professional. All right. So the next slide, anybody's kind of wheezy this morning, all right? Next slide is kind of rough, okay? Just a fair warning. Okay, so this is the same operator that we're talking about. Okay, we spent 2 hours a day with this guy, 5 days a week, the PT and a strength coach combined. This guy took a charge to the leg, right? So what a charge is, if anybody's seen somebody breach the door, they put the charge on the door, right? They enter. This guy, the charge was on the door. He was 20 feet away. He also had a charge in his pocket. It was hooked to the one in his pocket. The charge was facing out, though. Okay, they're taught, okay, details. The charge always faces away from the leg. Thank goodness it was facing away from the leg, because he could possibly lose both of his legs if it was facing in. All right, so it was facing out. So he was medevaced out. One of his teammates had to stick his hand in his leg to stop the bleeding the entire way to the hospital. All right? So there was a couple team members on the helicopter and them going to the hospital. They had to make a last-second decision to either head to the local hospital or head to Vanderbilt, to the bigger hospital, okay? That was a split decision. They're not supposed to make the decisions, okay? The medical staff is, okay? The medic is. They made that decision. They went to Vanderbilt. Thank goodness a JSOC surgeon was there that day, all right? The JSOC surgeon was there that day, so he has seen these things before. So obviously it was meant to be, and he was so lucky that they were there for him and they got him in there. So that's the quick story about this injury, all right? So that was basically when he got in there, and they haven't cleaned it up yet. This is when the swelling happened, okay? They cleaned it up a little bit. Obviously it's swollen. Now, this video is him. This is his first steps out of bed, all right?
Like that?
Yes,
Look
sir.
at you.
You're doing great.
Do a couple more.
Yeah, do some more of that.
This guy's very driven,
Going out.
okay? It's his first steps out of bed. I know dang well he don't want them nurses touching him. He wants to do it himself, okay?
The blood and the lines. We don't want to do too much. Good. Hey,
He sent us all these videos, all right? He sent us all these videos. This is a daily wrapping process. So he had to get a skin graft, all right? This was a daily routine, every day. We had to make sure it was clean, and he was a champion about it. And this was the nurses doing it. Once he got to us, the PT done it every day with him, all right? The PT done it every day. This video was made by his team leader, okay? His team leader sent me this video. So again, think about the damage that happened and what he's doing right there. This is just this is about a week after, all right?
Yeah, it's good. Looks like it's accepting weight.
It is. Well, yeah, you're not,
No,
each step doesn't look terribly painful.
no, not bad.
So he got back home, still sending us videos, all right? So this is home. This is his wife recording it, I believe. Not sure if he's supposed to be doing that or not, but he's doing it.
Okay. Look at you. Good job.
He's like, watch.
Good walking.
Stop it.
You're walking. This is him again. On video. Where's the song from? Anybody know? Yellowstone, right?
Everything I said was either funny or wrong. Laugh at my moves, laugh at my dreams.
All right, so fast forward to November. He is not supposed to be touching a barbell whatsoever, all right? So let's heads up there. So he sends this video. Again, loves CrossFit, got the no bulls on. Hard-headed. Hard-headed, man. But you saw a little bit of weight shift there. He didn't care. Like, he's getting it up. Now, this one is crazy. So he sent us this one. He's definitely not supposed to be doing this. So this is November, all right? We're training. I mean, he's hitting it hard with the PT and myself. I mean, he's smoked after the day. He's doing BFR with the PT. He just goes home and just, does this. Another one. Box jumps. Like, what are you doing? Not stepping down. Of course, he's getting these texts from me. Dude, you got to step down at least, right? Look at this. Bam, look at that. All right, fast forward to February. He's pretty much cleared. This is a local CrossFit gym. Again, programming is completely optional. Is he on my programming now? No, he's not. I got him back doing what he loves, okay? And I'm happy for him. I'm going to give him a hard time. But he's doing what he loves, all right? This is him in February. I don't know if that plays or not. Is that playing, guys? February? There we go.
All right, 10-10, drive with full foot. Up. Nice! That was nice.
Was it pretty? No, absolutely not. But, again, he's doing what he loves, and that's the most important thing. And he sent me this present day. Now that's what he's doing now. So it's pretty impressive. Great story. The thing about him is SOCOM wanted his case. So we put together a bunch of information, the process of what I'd done with him, the PTs, the doctors, because it was a team approach. So when stuff like this happens, sometimes you'll have other guys on the team tell them, hey man, like don't go to them. Like I know this guy out in Arizona, like he'll take care of you. Well, we attacked them from all fronts. So we had medical staff, PTs, operations, everybody in the same room, basically telling him like, hey, we're all here for you. You don't need to go anywhere. And he was like, all right, let's go. When do you want to start? And we started that day. So he stuck with us. SOCOM wanted it. SOCOM liked it so much, it went to Congress. All right? Congress wanted it. So everybody knows about the POTUF initiative. All right? So that helps us show them our worth as coaches when they hear stories like that and see stories like that. All right? And this was one of them. Okay? Operator 2. Next one, open book pelvic fracture, very rare. Lumbar compression, tibial pilon fracture, okay? This guy, it was a parachuting accident, okay? It was a tandem jump, so he has somebody attached to him. Basically, they were falling. There was another tandem above him, got tangled in his chute. So basically, they were just way just all tangled up, going straight down, no drift at all, and he fell 7 stories, okay? And the guy landed on his back. So the guy on top of him landed on him, okay? So pelvic fracture there. That's him in the chair. Don't let the thumbs up fool you, all right? So he was very, very Obviously depressed. He was struggling at this time, okay? But a quick story about him. I had a program ready for him, almost the same program that I did with the last one. But he rolls into the building. I see him. I'm like, I walk straight back into the office, and I'm like, I got to change my program. Because he has lost so much weight. I can see it on his face. He ain't ready for what I'm about to put him through. All right, he's not ready. So I changed everything up, and I'm glad I did. Everything was so difficult for him, right?
Good.
He hated being there. He hated it. So when he came to us that first day, of course, we give him blood work. We find out all the things that's going on. His T levels dropped into basically the 100s. Okay, so that's how low he was. Prescribed all kinds of opioids. We couldn't even put him through a workout without him breaking down, crying, laying on the floor, head on the ground. He was in a bad shape. All right, bad shape. So that's two totally different guys. You have somebody like the last one, okay, who's driven. He's struggling, okay? He's struggling. But we push through it, all right? And these guys come over to my house and train in my garage, all right? So this is a little bit, I'm going to walk you through the workout. This is going to be a full workout here, okay? So the first thing we got is a little counterbalance lateral squat, all right? So there you go. So pelvic fracture, this is what he's doing now, okay? Doing a great job. Shout out to Wolf Brigade. We got a mace squat here. Guys love it. He loves it. He's about to buy one for his house. Just a little warm up here. This is a little movement prep, okay? Got a little kettlebell RDL. Again, I wanted to put together a lower body session just for you all to see what he's able to do now, okay? He's still struggling. Obviously, he still has some back pain. When he gets up in the morning, his ankle's still pretty messed up. But it's amazing because what he looks like there, okay, is not what he looked like when he walked in the building. Little squat jump, non-counter movement. Then we get to the main workout, okay?
Yep. Nice. Good.
Got a little bit of squat, little lateral hinge there with the landmine.
Just do 5.
Goblet step up.
Good. Good. Now you can switch leg.
Kettlebell swing. Again, there's little things that obviously I see that obviously needs to be tweaked because I'm very specific with this stuff. They always tell me it's never good enough. It's never good enough, coach. Like, it's absolutely right. It's never good enough. There's always something to fix. All right. Overhead carry.
Nice.
And then finishing off with some alactic power intervals on the bike. Killing it. All right, that's where he's at today. And he's still on my program today. So it's very proud of him. Very proud of him. My next one. That's him. Again, doing stuff that they love, all right? He sent me that video. This is him with his son. Just crazy. Just crazy, man. But I love to see it. That's what it's about, okay? So that was operator number 2. Operator number 3, Sergeant Major Thomas Payne. I don't consider myself a recipient. I consider myself a guardian of this medal. And the legacies of my teammates will live on with this Medal of Honor forever. That was his quote when he received it. Some injuries happen from time spent in the military and just heroism. I'm lucky enough to work with him right now. He was born and raised in this area, and we're blessed to have him in the audience today. So, Pat, will you raise your hand, stand up real quick? So these are the kind of guys I get to work with. Blessed to do it. I mean, that picture alone, you can see it on his face. It's a very powerful picture. It just means a lot. And now we're working to getting back to doing what he loves. Elk hunting and just doing things in the outdoors. Okay, that's exactly what we're thriving for. So we are working towards those goals as strength coaches to get these guys back in the fight, but also back to their families and back to the stuff that they love to do. All right, and that's the most important thing. Switching gears. All right, I want to thank Bert for giving me this opportunity. And with this opportunity, I want to get a little personal with you. All right? I want to get a little personal with you. Living beyond. All right? So this past year for me and my family has been pretty rough. But I want to consider this a wake-up call for everybody and myself. Okay? Living beyond is something that you're living beyond all this. The weights, the food, the alcohol, everything earthly, worldly. Our goal, our purpose in life is to live beyond that. All right? To keep things in perspective. So this year, what happened to me was, I didn't know if it was COVID. I don't know. I never got tested for it. I ended up with celiac disease. If anybody in here have celiac disease? One guy in the back. So it's just not gluten-free. All right? It's more than that. I didn't know what caused it. I didn't know what happened. And then heart issues came. So with the celiac comes with the gut issues, then comes the heart issues. I ended up losing 50 pounds in 3 months. I was 220, got back down to like 165. Because I got really skinny, really weak. I was bedridden for about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. We were scared. Me and my wife were scared, all right? The greatest power comes out of the most difficult pain, all right? And I'm talking beyond strength and conditioning here. It ain't got nothing to do with any of this right now, all right? But keeping things in perspective. She was my strength in the most weakest times, okay? Sometimes in life, it takes us getting down physically, getting down on our knees and crying out to God to save you. And that's what happened with me. Everybody has their story. This is mine, all right? As we grow and mature and grow in this profession, our inner circle gets smaller, all right? The networking continues to grow, but the inner circle gets smaller, all right? That's my inner circle, okay? People come and go all the time, okay? When your soul's at rest and you're laying there, you got the people in the front row that loves you, that's crying, their life's changed forever. You got the people behind them who's there for the people in the front. Then you got the people in the back on their cell phone. Okay? You're living for them. That's who you're living for. All right? So keep things in perspective there. As professionals, as strength coaches, we tend to do a lot of this. We're tough. We got muscles. Our shirt's tight. We blare loud music. We're at practice. We got loud speakers. Our guys are tough. We're ego-driven. As coaches, we camp around the wrong things. We wear a false cape. Are you somebody you're not? Are you acting like somebody you're not on the sidelines or in the weight room? Ask yourself that. Are you the guy that really needs to yell in the weight room to get somebody hype? Stuff is bogus, man. It's fleeting. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable as a coach. The kids need love. Coach Luke Day said it last year. It's powerful. Love is everything. It's okay to be calloused on the outside, but our hearts need to be soft. Our hearts need to be soft. People will do anything for you if they know you love them. This right here is all about my purpose, what I live for in life. This changed my life. This is the most impactful moment of my life. All right? 2 former baseball players of mine at Liberty baptized me 4 months ago. I connected with them on a level like no other. Okay? Not a worldly level, this kind of level. I impacted their lives. They changed my life forever. All right?
You want those guys out here?
Yeah, let's get them all out here.
You guys, are y'all free to step out for a minute?
I would sit.
You ready to baptize?
Y'all speed it up.
Just like that.
It's a little cold.
Just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, we too might walk in the newness of life. Shelton, you accepted Christ as your personal Lord and Savior?
Yes.
All right, then in obedience of the Lord's command, Josh and I hereby baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, buried in the likeness of his death, raised to walk in the newness of life. It is done as the Lord has commanded.
So, I had former players show up to that. I'd done that back in Lynchburg, Virginia, where I met these guys to a place, it comes full circle. They fired me, but I won. All right, but I won. Everyone who competes in the games trains with strict discipline. They do it for the crown that is perishable. All this is perishable. Everything. You're wearing, your rings, your jewelry, your car, the clothes you wear, everything. Anchor your life. Attach your identity to something other than anything on this world. What do you have your identity attached to now? The people you follow, your followers on social media? That stuff is crap. Attach your identity to something, man. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everything in this world comes and goes. There's one thing that lasts. One. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25 through 27. Therefore, I do not run aimlessly. I do not fight like I am beating the air. No, I discipline my body and make it my slave so that after I have talked to others, I myself will not be disqualified. I'm going. Are you living beyond? Thank you. Love you.
Everybody.